You probably know by now there's a law in North Carolina banning texting while driving. Now, in its first year, 107 tickets were issued in Wake County. That's less than 1 every 3 days in the busiest part of the state. But we see people breaking this law and getting away with it all the time. In fact, just this morning, we sat at one single intersection for 20 minutes and saw 11 people looking down at or punching buttons on their phones while behind the wheel. Now, studies show this is more dangerous than drunk driving. So why isn't more being done to enforce it? Well, we asked the tough questions.
40 now, what's 20?
Here comes an ambulance.
Trooper Beckley Vaughn has been on the force for 22 years. He can't believe how distracted drivers have gotten.
There are plenty of people that are stopped for suspicion of driving while impaired, and they're completely sober, but they're just driving terrible. Their habits have gotten so bad. We see that kind of stuff all the time.
And a lot of it has to do with?
A lot of it has to do with the use of a cell phone.
The state enacted a law last year banning the use of additional technology while driving, but there are problems with the law. It's nearly impossible to enforce because the only way they can write a ticket is if the driver admits to doing it.
I can be doing this, and if you ask me if I'm texting and I say no, that's the end of it.
For the most part, yeah.
The trooper can ask to see the phone to prove it, but you don't have to surrender it without a search warrant, something highly unlikely to be issued during a routine stop.
This is a pretty easy ticket for a driver to get out of.
There are court issues. I mean, people are afforded rights.
So if it's easy to get out of and hard to enforce, why was the law written that way? Well, we took that question to one of the original sponsors of the bill, Representative Garland Pierce. The texting bill, isn't that kind of hard to enforce?
And I agree with that. It's somewhat difficult, but the main thing is just public awareness. I mean, some things are just public awareness issues.
It turns out, though, public awareness is a problem as well. We went on a ride-along with Trooper Vaughn and parked right by the scene of an accident, a place where putting your phone down and paying attention is especially important. You won't believe what we saw.
There is a lady right behind us on her cell phone.
She's the only one that stopped in the middle of the road, and this ambulance is trying to get by.
That guy's texting.
Then we caught one man drive right up to the accident, pull out his phone, and start hitting buttons.
I saw you ride by with your phone up. Looked like you were texting.
No, actually I wasn't. I'll show you. I took a picture of that wreck.
Okay.
I'll show you the picture right now. I thought that's why you were pulling me over.
And it is.
He was actually unknowingly showing Trooper Vaughn proof that he'd broken the law. Remember, additional technology includes email or camera phones.
Just be careful.
But he got off with a warning. Why? 1 year after the law was in place, everyone's still having trouble understanding it, including law enforcement. Vaughn and several other troopers we spoke to didn't know it included banning emails and camera phones.
If I was aware of the fact that it applied, I more than likely would have charged him.
It's a problem that needs a solution. Representative Pierce says a new law in the works banning all handheld cell phone use might do the trick.
If it's up in your hands, if you get in your ear driving down the road, now somebody can see that.
The troopers agree.
Doesn't matter if they're texting, whatever they're doing.
If that's what the law is, it's no different than holding a beer can. I mean, it's obvious. You can see it.
The proposed law would encompass texting, talking, snapping photos, anything that isn't hands-free. But it wouldn't make it into committee for weeks, and if passed, likely wouldn't be enacted until late this year. In the meantime, scenes like this keep happening.
She's on her phone. She just came right up behind me at 68 miles per hour.
I saw you on your cell phone, but you came right up behind me. Were you not aware at all that you were coming up behind me?
This is one of those days where I'm so distracted by what's going on.
Right. Well, we want you to pay attention to your driving.
Penn Holderness, NBC 17 News.